welcome back to Ninson's Math Solutions. Looking at the Foundation GCSE Maths Paper 1. This is Edexcel, purposely for Edexcel students. So if you're an Edexcel student, you've hit a very good chance now to succeed. Okay, so this is our second part of the Paper 1 of 2022 Foundation GCSE paper. Okay, so again, as always, make sure you pause the video, have a go at the questions, and then we'll talk through it. I'll do my best to explain as much as possible the different ways of solving the same question. Okay, so this is question 11. Our last video we ended on question 10. So question 11 says, at the end of October, Fiona's electricity meter reads 88738 kilowatts. At the end of November, her electricity meter reads 89198 kilowatts. Okay, so each kilowatt of electricity Fiona uses costs 16p. Work out how much Fiona had to pay for electricity she used in November. And it will surprise you to know this question is worth 4 marks. So we need to do at least 4 things. We need to do a lot of work here to get most of the marks. So the first thing we want to find out is how much electricity at all did Fiona use in November. So the emphasis here for us is in November, and I'd like to highlight that. Okay, so we know at the end of November, we know at the end of October. So what that means is if we can subtract these two readings, we will get exactly what she used in November. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can read as I write them. So the bigger one always goes first, and we'll try and use column subtraction here. Okay, so we got 89198. So 89198, and we're gonna subtract from it 88738. So we got 88738, and our subtraction must be done properly. Okay, so 8 take away 8 is 0, 9 take away 3 is 6, and of course here we've got to borrow from 9 to make it 8, and that makes it 10, so it becomes 11. 11 take away 7 is 4, and then 8 take away 8 is 0, and 8 take away 8 is 0. So basically Fiona must have used 460 kilowatts of electricity in November. The question is not work out how much kilowatts, it says how much she had to pay. So we go again and we read the question, and we notice here Fiona had to pay, and we know every time she uses it will cost her 16p. Remember, 16p is 16 divided by 100. All right, so we'll bear that in mind when we finish our calculations. Okay, so we're gonna do 460 times by 16. I know a lot of students struggle with this, okay, especially those on the foundation paper. You can look at the column grade method, or you could look at the column method. Okay, so and we've got the Chinese method. I'll try to stick to just 2. I'll do the column method and then the grade method, so you can have a choice as to which one you want to do. So I'll try and split this there. So I've got 460 multiplied by 16. So 6 times by 0 is 0, and then that gives me 36. So I write the 6, carry the 3, and 6 times by 4 is 24. Add the 3 is 27. Now when I go to 1, I've gone to the 10 place, so I need a placeholder of 0, and that gives me 0, 6, and 4. Okay, then I add, so that gives me 0, gives me 6 there, that's 13, 3, carry the 1, that then gives me 7. Okay, so I've got 7360. Remember, this is in pesos, pence, sorry. So this is in pence. So we know that I've got 7360 pence, or 7,360 pence. We want to convert that to pounds, so we have to then divide by 100. Okay, so when we divide by 100, that gives us 73 pounds and 60 pence. That's how much Fiona will have to pay. This is for those of you who are experts of using the column method. Now for those who want to use the grade method, you can then see 460 as 400 and then 60, and of course 16 as 10 and 6. Then you could multiply them and add your answers, so it will be very easy here. So 10 times by 400 is 4000. 10 times by 60 is 600. 6 times by 400 is 2400 or 2400, and 6 times by 60 is 360. Okay, then we add our numbers which are in red. So we've got our 4000, add our 2400. I'll add them in pairs, so that gives me 0, 0, 4 and 6. So I'll go 6400. Then if I do 600 add my 360, that gives me 0, 6 there and 9, so I've got 960. So basically I'm gonna then add, I use a different color, 6400 and 960. When I add these two, I get 0, 6 there, I get 3, that's 13, carry the 1, and that is 7. So you notice I get the same answer there. So therefore our answer for Fiona to pay at the in the November, or how much you have to pay, is £73.60. Hopefully you were able to do that also, and well done to you if you got that right. So let's go to question 12. Question 12 is a bonus for many students, so make sure you see questions like that, you do it. Remember, for us to add, the key thing for adding and subtracting fractions is common denominator. The denominators have to be the same. That's 12, that's 2. Okay, so look at the denominator and think, what can I do to make them the same? They must be the same times tables. Okay, so you can notice that 6 and 12 are both in the same times table. So we know that we've got 12 here, and therefore this must also have 12. We've multiplied 12 by 1, so we multiply 5 by 1 to give us 5. We've multiplied 6 by 2 to get 12, therefore we multiply 1 by 2 to get 2. Now that we've got the same common denominator, we can tell that keep the common denominator, and we've got 7 12s. How many marks is this? It's 2 marks. Remember to write on the answer line. So we've got our 7 out of 12, and that's our answer. Very easy question, a bonus question. Okay, the next thing here, the next question, B part. Always remember with fractions, check to see if there's an additional sentence. Highlight it so you can always come back to see if you've actually answered the additional sentence. Okay, so it says to multiply. Multiplying fractions is straightforward. We multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom. If you haven't watched my video on the first principles to multiplying fractions, I will strongly recommend it to you because it will really help you. Okay, so here we are looking at multiplying across the top. So we know our 3/10 times 5/8. Across the top we will have 15. Across the bottom we are going to have 80. Okay, now it says to give your answer in its simplest form. This is one way of doing it. I'll show you another way to make life a little bit easier, but hang on. Okay, so we notice that anytime a number ends in 0, it must be in the 5 times table, and anytime a number ends in 5, it must also be in the 5 times table. So I have to think the 5 times table, so which means I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 5 because they are both in the 5 times table. This is a longer way of doing it, but I'll show you a quicker way after this part. Okay, so I do 15 divided by 5, which is 3, and then 80 divided by 5. One of the ways to do it is write down your 5 times table right up until you get 80 and then count up. Okay, if you do so, you should have 16. So your answer in the simplest form will be 3 out of 16. However, there's a quicker way you can look at doing this, and one of the ways is to look at the question here. You will notice, if you're a little bit observant, that the 10 and the 5 are both in the same times table. Numbers at the top, no matter where they are on the top, when they are multiplying, they are always dividing or divided by the numbers at the bottom of a fraction. Okay, so I could just switch these two numbers around. So instead of writing 3/10, I'll write 5/10, and I'll do times 3/8. All I've done is to switch around the 5 and the 3. It is the same thing because they are both at the top of the fractions and they are multiplying. We only do this when we have multiplication happening. So you can see here that 5/10 can be simplified easily to 1/2, and I'm timesing 1/2 by 3/8. Now that I've made it easier, I can then see here that 1 times by 3 is 3 and 2 times by 8 is 16. My answer will still give me the same answer to that. Of course, if you are not comfortable with this technique, always stick with this because you will get a mark by getting the first one right. Okay, and I hope you understand that. All right, let's quickly go on to the next question. As usual, always make sure you have a go at the question before you watch the solution. So pause the video, have a go, and I want you to build your confidence, you build your resilience, build your leadership skills, your initiative skills, take authority. Okay, be very organized. Thank you. All right, so looking at this question, worded questions are always easy because the clues are always given in the question. I don't want you to panic, just read it and be calm. Okay, one of the key things here with probability, if you didn't know, probability simply means fraction. Okay, so when you're doing a question and you see that word probability, I don't want you to panic. I want you to think, oh, I'm going to write a fraction. Yes, that's what you're going to do, just a fraction. So read the question and let's see if you can have a go. Pause the video before you look at the answer. All right, so there are 15 sweets in a jar. 4 of the sweets are red. Okay, so we've got 4 of them being red. So let's try and highlight that. Okay, Joe takes at random a sweet from the jar. Write down the probability that the sweet is red. Okay, so these are important bits. There's 4 of them that are red, 15 of them are in the jar. What is the probability? Remember what I said, this word here simply means fraction. So we can read the question as write down the fraction that the sweet is red. Okay, so if the 4 of them are red and there's 15 out of them, then we know that there is 4 out of 15, and that's our answer. Very easy. You don't need to write it in words, you don't need to simplify your answer, don't even bother about percentage or decimals, just go straight. If the question gives us in decimals, we'll keep it as a decimal. If it gives us as whole numbers, we'll go for fractions always. Okay, the next one. Okay, the second part is there are only green counters and blue counters in a bag. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The probability that the counter is green is 0.3. Okay, so we've got probability that we've got a green counter is 0.3. Find the probability that the counter is blue. So this is one of the questions or one of the things we call mutually exclusive events. The two can't happen at the same time. Since I'm taking one counter at a time, it's either I take green or I'll be taking any other color that is in there. So there are only green counters and blue. So I take green or I take blue. I can't take green and blue at the same time. Okay, so if 0.3 is what green will be, then the two of them should add up to make one whole. Okay, so basically, what do I add to 0.3 to get one whole? And that is 0.7. Basically, all you're doing is 1 take away 0.3, and that gives us 0.7. Okay, so that's our answer for that, and we put on the answer line. Okay, the next one here is substitution. Question 14. It says y equals 6x minus 5. Work out the value of y when x is equal to 4. So be careful, 6 and x are multiplying each other. So there's an invisible times sign between a number and a letter that are together. So we could say that y equals 6 times by whatever x is 4. So we just substitute. And then when I finish, I take away 5. Okay, so 6 times by 4 is 24 and we're taking away 5. So y is 24 take away 5, which therefore means that our y is 19. So it says work out the value of y, and y is 19. We can just put that on the dotted line, answered line here, and that is 19. Again, easy to mark up. Okay, so feel free, look at it carefully. Substitution is replacing a number and a letter together means they are timesing, and that is very important to know. Okay, now let's go on to we are doing well for time, so that's great. Now let's go to the next question. Question 15. This usually comes on a non-calculator paper, especially for both the higher and the foundation. A lot of students, what they don't read is the word here, estimate. What this means is don't do the exact calculation. Don't see decimals and start panicking. Okay, it says estimate. So what we need to do is to round each number to one significant figure, or round them to numbers that will be easier to work. Questions that always say you must show your working will leave you with no marks if you don't show your working. Okay, so 92 here can be rounded to one significant figure as 90, because it's closer to 90 than it is to 100. If you did 95, yes, but chances are that you are likely to be wrong, because it will make your working a little bit challenging for you. Estimating is to make the calculations easier to deal with. Okay, and then our 1.63 to one significant figure will be 2. Okay, so now we're timesing. So we've got 90 times by 2. To times by 2 means to double it. So 90 doubled is 180. Okay, so our answer to this question will be 180. And that's it. We've shown our working. How have I done that? We've rounded each number to one significant figure, and it is very easy. Okay, now when we come to this second part of the question, it says given that 2.96 times by 3.2 gives us 9.472, find the value of 29.6 times 32. Now, because these digits are exact same digits for the question that we've been asked, it means our answer will give us the exact same digits that this first part gave us, 9472. As to where the decimal point goes, we're going to figure it out. We notice that 2.96 has become 29.6. What they've done is they've multiplied it by 10. Okay, because if you multiply by 10, the digits move to the left, so we got 29.6. Again, if you look at 3.2 to get 32, they've multiplied by 10 again to get 32. What that means is that our answer should be multiplied by 10 twice. Okay, so this question, this answer here, we multiply by 10 and we multiply by 10. That means we get 947.2. So our answer should be 947.2. And that's exactly, very easy, straightforward, nothing to worry about. Just using what you've been given. You don't have to look at it. And then always look at the marks awarded for these questions. It's only 1 mark. Don't waste too much time doing the real calculation. It's a hint not to stress. Okay, so thank you for looking at that. It's very important. All right, next question. Again, try to pause the video if you want to before you have a go. It's very important. If not, just follow me. So we got here, it says Savio leaves his home at 07:30 to drive to work. He drives a distance of 15 miles. Savio thinks he drives at an average speed of 14 miles per hour. If Savio is correct, at what time will he arrive at work? So there's something that I always remind my students. Remember, this is a bonus question. If your science is good, you should be able to do this question easily. So we're looking at speed, distance, time, and that's the way I remember it. From the triangle, I look at it this way: silly dog tricks. So speed is distance divided by time. So once you've done that, fill in the bits you know. Okay, we know the distance is 50 miles, and then we know that the speed is 40 miles per hour. So 40 there. Okay, and we know that everything is in hours, so that's great there. So we are looking at the time. It says calculate what time. So that's what we're looking at. So to work out the time, we know our time should be 50 divided, which is fraction, 40. Okay, if we simplify this, we get our time to be 5/4, which as a mixed number is 1 whole and 1/4 of an hour. So 1 hour and a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. Okay, so we could say 1 hour and 15 minutes. It says if Savio is correct, at what time will he arrive at work? What we need to check is what time does Savio leave home. So he leaves home at 07:30. So we're gonna add 1 hour, which will give us 08:30 in the morning, and then plus the 15 minutes will be 8:45 or 8:45. So the answer will be 08. So let me get it written properly. So that will be 08:45, and that is very, very important as our answer, or 8:45 a.m. Okay. Now it says, in fact, Savio's average speed was greater than 40 miles per hour. So if the speed is greater, the faster he's going, it means that his time will be reduced. It means that he will get to work earlier than the time we've just calculated. So it says, how does this affect your answer? Our answer will be less. So the time will of course going to be less than 1 hour and a quarter. So that means that it will affect our answer, and we'll say our answer will be less than the time before. Okay, because he's going at a speed that is greater than what we thought. Okay, and this is very important. Always when you look at that, when you're dividing and the number is bigger, your outcome is gonna be smaller. Okay, so bigger division in the bottom, outcome smaller, and that's one thing you need to remember. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions. After this question, we'll pause and then do the third part of the video. Hopefully you'll get this. Okay, students really love these questions, and so make sure you pay attention, have a go, and this should be a bonus answer for you, and fill it in as you go along. So 72 people did the test. Okay, so 72 goes here. 20 of the 32 adults, so we know there are 32 adults, so 32 adults, 20 of the 32 adults who did the test passed. So 20 passed. So to get 32, we need our 12 who failed. Okay, 6 of the children who did the test failed. Okay, so 6 of the children failed. So 6 comes here. Now we need to work out how many children were there. We know there's 72 adult people altogether, and 32 of them were adults. So if we did 72 take away 32, we will know how many children were there. So that's 0, and that is 4. So we know there were 40 children. Now 6 of them failed, we were told. So how many passed will be 34, because we must make our 40. So we've completed that, and that is straightforward 3 marker, easy for us. Okay, as you read, you fill it in as you go along. Hopefully you got it right. Okay, and since one of these people is split at random, here's the word again. It seems to be coming through the same word here. Find the probability. So probability means fraction. Okay, so remember, we're gonna be writing our fraction. So don't forget that fraction. So find the probability that this person is an adult who failed the test. So one of these people is picked at random. Find the probability that this person is an adult. So we are looking at adults. How many are there? 32 who failed the test. So we got 12 out of 32. Fraction 12 over 32. And that's our answer. We don't have to simplify it. We don't have to write as a decimal. We don't need to write it as a percentages. We're not writing it in words. Write it as a fraction. Make life easy for yourself. So we got 12 over 32. Okay. Thank you for watching this second part of the video. Hopefully it's helped you and advanced your learning in maths so far. And I'm hoping that you will share, you will like, and then you will comment, and make sure the comments are wholesome. Thank you, and subscribe to Ninson Maths Solutions. Share with other people to also subscribe. Thank you for watching.